All right. On today's well, all right. On today's show, I welcome on a very special guest. He is Sebastian Thomas. He is a guard for Hoosac men's basketball team. How are you doing today, Sebastian?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How are you holding up during these COVID times?
I'm doing pretty well. Just trying to stay healthy, stay safe from everyone, and just stay focused on what I need to get done.
That's good. That's really good. Before we get into your career at Hoosac and playing with the RR Elite there, and I saw you were in Miami recently. I want to know, how did you get into basketball?
Well, I first started playing basketball when I was 4. I think my family did a great job of just putting a ball in my hands when I was very young. They always wanted me in sports, and just people in my family just played basketball. So I was just the next one to come up in the family. So it just that's how I kind of started playing basketball.
That's awesome. Did your your family ever do you guys have one-on-one games? Do you have other family members that play?
Yeah, when I was young, my cousin actually, he plays overseas, Lamont.
Yeah.
I always used to work out with him and stuff. I was never good enough when I was younger to one-on-one him. But other family members, we were just playing the backyard for fun. But I would lose most of the time. But now it's a different story. I don't think they can beat me right now.
That's awesome. And what's it like, Lamont is your cousin. What's it like learning from him? He plays pro overseas, great player at Johnson Wales. I was actually at Johnson Wales when he was there. So what's it like to learn from him?
It's great. It's just he teaches me everything I need to know, whether it's basketball or just other stuff in life, just preparing for games, your body, keeping your body healthy and stuff like that. It's just great having him as a mentor and stuff like that.
That's great. That's awesome. And now when you make your decision to go to Bishop Hendricken, is there any other schools that you're looking at before you go for high school? Did you want to stay at your school? Or did you decide to when did you decide to go to Bishop Hendricken?
I believe in 7th and 8th grade, my mind was always on Hendricken just because of the kids that were going there before. I had a couple of cousins that were older than me that went there before me. And I just heard great things about the school and stuff like that. So that's where my mind really was. But I did have one school. I actually played for an AAU team when I was younger called the Breakers, and my coach, his name is Lottie. He actually coached at Coyle Cassidy in Massachusetts or somewhere over there in that area. And he wanted me to reclass in 8th grade and go there, but I ended up going to Hendricken.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's great. And now what was your time like at Hendricken and being there? Because Hendricken, they always pull in great players. What was it like to play with other great players and also to establish yourself as, one of the best players in Rhode Island at the time?
First year coming into Hendricken, this is going to be a funny story. I actually made JV, and the morning Coach Gomes brought me into his office to tell me the reason why I made JV. I wasn't too happy. He told me, and then I actually started crying because I thought I was good enough to make varsity, but I wasn't at the time. But he told me just keep working. You're a future here at Hendricken. And he gave me the exact reasons why I didn't make varsity that year. And then from there on out, he always just stuck with me. And then we built a great relationship, and still to this day, we stay in contact every once or 2 weeks. So he's a great guy, stuff like that.
That's awesome. That's great. And what was the things that he said to you? What does that still stick to your mind today? What was the things they said to you that you had to work on to get to where you needed to be?
This is gonna be I gotta think this one. Can we come back to that one, and I think I'll answer it at the end?
Yeah, that's totally fine. So as you're in Hendricken, what was it like? I know that you won a championship there. What was it like to win a championship at Hendricken, and how did that feel to put your name in history over there?
It felt great actually. I won I won 2 actually, but my freshman year I don't really count it because I didn't really play on the team, but it still counts for me. But yeah, that was a great learning experience for me, learning from players like TJ Weeks, Bobby Fiorito, Jalen Watson, stuff like that. So just watching them on the sideline, and then next year knowing that I was going to come and take one of their roles as on the team, it was just a good thing to learn from them and stuff like that. And then my sophomore year, we ended up losing to Cumberland, I think, the first round of the playoffs and stuff like that. That was kind of disappointing for our seniors and stuff like that. So then Coach Gomes always preached to us, my junior year, that was last year, he always preached to us that like we can't let the things that happened last year get to us and happen this year. So junior year, the team just had a new mentality, new focus, and like stuff like that. And then we ended up winning the Division I championship, and then our season got shut down due to COVID. But I think they still counted it as a state championship. So I'm happy with that ending. So yeah, it was just good result for us.
That's great. I mean, yeah. I mean, what was it like to go through that weird, like knowing that like you guys were going into probably the playoff, like the statewide open tournament, and like with COVID, how did you feel when they heard it got shut down, and what was that like?
It was very disappointing for me. I mean, because I kind of knew in the back of my head that was the game against Tolman was going to be our last game. I think that was our first game in the state tournament and stuff like that. So I believe it was one of the practices, maybe before or after Tolman. I came into practice after school. My mind wasn't really in it because I knew in the back of my head that the season might get shut down. And Coach Gomes, he was always saying, this could be our last practice. Give it your all, and stuff like that. This is going to be our last time together and stuff. And then actually, I ended up like, this is going to be, I don't want to say this, but I ended up getting kicked out of practice for like a couple of minutes because I wasn't giving my best effort and stuff like that. And then, so he kicked me out the gym. I was just on the wall, like thinking to myself. And then Coach Gomes runs out the gym. He's like, "Where's Sebastian?" to all the students in the class that were just walking in the hallway and stuff like that. So he ends up finding me, pulls me to the side and just talks to me and is like, "You just got to go back in there with a new mindset," stuff like that. So yeah, he's just a great mentor to me. He's a great coach. I think my favorite coach and my best coach ever. So I really appreciate him.
That's awesome. That's great. That's great that you have someone like that and that like kind of help you set your mind right and, you know, get you going and kept with you and stuck you in the right path to where you're at now. Now, what's the decision to go to prep school and how did you end up choosing Hoosac?
Actually, so my mind coming off the state championship win or whatever, myself, I wanted to stay another year at Hendricken and maybe do a post-grad year if I needed to. But I felt like I was good enough to the point where I could get some offer coming out of Hendricken, like even if it was a low D1 offer or something like that. But then that junior year, after the season, multiple schools called my AAU coach and told him like they were interested in me to go to prep school. And then my family was always on me about it and stuff like that. Going to prep school would make me give me another year for school, for me as a basketball player, just to get my body stronger, just to get better as a player and stuff like that. So, but in my mind, I'm going against my whole family and everyone that's in my corner saying I want to stay at Hendricken, just because I built relationships with people like Coach Gomes at Hendricken, all my friends, the coaching staff, stuff like that. So, and then finally, I think like it was like a month before the school started. I got my AAU coach called me and said Hoosac was a school. So then I took a visit down there. It was a little weird at first because it's in the upstate of New York in the middle of nowhere. I wasn't too fond of it like when I first visited, I didn't really like it. But then like just thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, it's going to be the best choice for me and stuff like that, just because of the ending result that I'm going to get out of it and stuff like that. So I ended up at Hoosac, and then I'm still here now. So
that's awesome. That's great. And what's it like been like there? Did you guys have a season? What happened with COVID and everything like that? What's been going on with that?
We had a couple of scrimmages. We didn't have like a real season. I don't think the whole NEPSAC league had a season. I think they were just, some teams were doing their own thing, like playing in-state and stuff like that. But for some reason, my school, we were just traveling not everywhere, but we traveled to play some teams, and some teams came to our school to play. So we had about 10 to 15 scrimmages, and it was just good. It was actually hard for me to kind of adapt to this new school because their playing style is a little bit different from like American playing style, considering like these kids are all from overseas and stuff like that. They all come from different countries, and I'm one of the two Americans on the team, so it was kind of hard. Yeah.
Wow. What's is it more like, how do they play? Like, is it more team? Is it like spread? Like, how do they play it? Like, what's the difference from like here to there?
So like from American style basketball, I feel like there's more like isolation, like going one-on-one,
Yeah.
more running up and down. My school right now, once like we get a rebound or something, I have to slow it down and stuff like that. We're calling plays like every possession. We're really doing fast breaks. So it's just different from like that. And I had to adjust to that. So it was kind of hard the first couple of games, but then I got the hang of it.
Yeah. That's great. Do you have like a favorite scrimmage that you remember that you've enjoyed the most, or who you played against, or?
We played a school called Scotland Campus. I think they're from Philadelphia or some Pennsylvania, somewhere in that area. And
Yeah.
I found out after the first game, we played them twice. First game we ended up losing by like 12 to 13 points. And then the next day they beat us like by 20. But the first game we played them, I had 20 points and like 8 assists. And then I found out like later that day that they were the number 6 team in the country. So I was like, I just thought to myself, like, if I just had a good game against the number 6 team in the country, I feel like I can compete with anybody in the country and stuff like that. So that was probably my favorite moment from the season that we had so far.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's like a great like confidence builder, and it feels like makes you feel like you're one of the best out there. And definitely, that's awesome for you. What makes you such a great point guard? Because I look at the box. I was looking at the box scores of what you're doing, man. It's like, it seems like almost like a double double. It was like 17 points, 13 assists, 10 assists, 8 assists. Like, what makes you? How do you pride yourself on being such like a great point guard that you are?
I feel like me being me, I feel like if I'm on your team, I feel like I'm always gonna look for my teammates, because I feel like I'm a pass first point guard. A lot of people, I put up like a lot of scoring numbers, but I feel like in general, I pass the ball really well. I look for my teammates. I find the open guy and stuff like that. So I just try to find the person that's open and try to make the easiest play for my teammates and stuff like that. But I can also score the ball whenever my team needs me or whenever I want to. So I feel like that's what makes me a good point guard. But there are also some things I need to work on being a point guard, like leadership. I'm a shy kid. I don't really talk to a lot of people. I have a small circle. So like, I don't really yell at people, but taking my game to the next level, I'm going to have to start like putting my foot down and calling people out at the next level in college. So I need to work on stuff like that, just leadership skills and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's understandable. Is it, you don't seem shy. You're like you're doing great in this interview, so like you don't seem shy at all. Is there like a certain like anything that you're gonna work on specifically like for the leadership skills, or is there someone you're gonna work with to help you with that, or is it just gonna be stuff fun that you're working on your own?
I feel like it kind of just has to come, like, I don't know, just come up. I don't feel like I can really work on it. I just feel like I have to bring it out of me somehow, some way. A lot of my cousin, my coaches, my dad, they've been telling me like for the past year now, like you have to start talking, you have to start communicating with your teammates better and stuff like that. So I feel like I just have to do that at some point.
Yeah, definitely. And then what's your time been like with the RI Elite, playing with them, and what was your trip like also with Miami?
My time with R Elite, it's been great. They have a lot of great players coming out of RI Elite. I feel like we are a good program. I feel like we are the best program in Rhode Island. But you know, RI Elite's just like a family thing. Like Coach Nick, Coach Neri, and Coach Red, they all treat us like family. Every kid, spend time with the kids and stuff like that. Like in Miami, we did they took us to some popular street in Miami where like everyone was at. We just spent time together as a team, just fun stuff like that. But in Miami, we played 4 games. We ended up going 1-3, but really 2-2 because the girl at the scoreboard messed up the score. And it was just great being out there, like competing against kids across the country that have offers, just stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gotta be a cool experience to play like some different competition. I mean, you're already doing that now. Like, seems like you're doing that at your school currently, but it's also cool to go and travel, play against other AAU teams, and get the experience to travel down to Miami. I'm sure that was a pretty cool trip to experience as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, are you a lefty?
Yeah.
What's the one thing? I'm a lefty. So what's the one thing about being a lefty that's like kind of beneficial when you play basketball? Because I feel like everyone.
A lot of people like say that it's harder to guard a lefty than a righty, but I really don't know what's like beneficial from being a lefty from being righty, because like when I was younger, I always wish I was right-handed, but I don't really know that question.
All right, that's fine. I figure I asked. I think it throws people off. I think when you first shoot, people are like, "Oh, they don't
Yeah.
expect it." That's cool. So I want to ask you some fun questions outside of just basketball, and this is for the listeners get to know you. Do you have any pregame superstitions or rituals?
I just like turning up with my teammates before the game, listening to music, stuff like that. I mean, I don't really do that now at Hoosac because we're not that close of a team. Like if I was with RLE or Hendricken, like Hendricken, the team's always bonding and stuff like that. We're always dancing, laughing, joking, just stuff like that.
That's awesome. That's great. And then what's like, is there favorite music or anything that like you prefer to play, like like artists or anyone that you listen to?
Yeah, I listen to, like, if you know me, I'm always gonna be playing Little Baby, NBA YoungBoy, or Little Dirk. Probably those three, but mostly NBA YoungBoy before every game, definitely, just because he gets me in that mode. I don't know.
Does it now? Is there a song for a certain someone that might be sitting behind the desk who's doing this interview should listen to who doesn't heard of NBA YoungBoy before?
Damn, that's a hard question. He has a lot of good songs. I mean, for the people who don't know him, I think you should just go on Apple Music or YouTube, just look up his top songs. I feel like after that you'll start liking him a lot more and stuff like that.
All right, noted. I will definitely have to do that for sure. What's your favorite food?
I like steak, chicken, pizza, stuff like that.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. And then do you have a favorite pizza? Like favorite pizza topping?
Just cheese.
Just cheese. All right. I like it. I like it. And now do you have a favorite NBA team and favorite player?
NBA team. I actually don't have a favorite NBA team. It's kind of crazy, but I have a couple favorite players that I try to, I would say model my game after. I like Ja Morant, obviously. I like Westbrook. Who else do I like? I like to take a lot like from old players. I watch new players, but I usually watch like old players, just like Rajon Rondo when he was on the Celtics. I liked his game a lot. Kobe Bryant, obviously, he's my favorite, just because me and my dad just share memories of like him watching him together when we were younger and stuff like that. Just his approach to the game, his mentality when he competes against anyone. Those are like just a few of my favorite players.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I think like Rajon Rondo when he's on Celtics was probably one of my favorites. Just like the way he played, his style of play was just get his teammates going, and his defense was so good. And then Kobe obviously is just his mentality, like you said, his mentality is like second to none. Like it's just a killer instinct. Like he just wants to go out and play the game, and he's such a high basketball IQ.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And then, all right, last question: what's your favorite thing to do outside basketball?
Favorite thing to do, probably just play video games with my friends. Do that a lot.
What's the game?
We usually play 2K, Call of Duty, Madden, any game like that.
Nice. Is there a team for Madden and 2K that you use the most, or do you rotate?
Nah, for Madden, I'm definitely using the Rams, just because that's my favorite players on that team. Jalen Ramsey, my favorite player. Just because of his mentality, how competitive he is and stuff like that. And for 2K, I don't really have a favorite team. I feel like I could go against anybody with any team. So
I love it. I love it. I think I'm gonna try to set up a 2K tournament because everyone says that they can go against anyone with any team. So I figure I gotta set it up and have you all guys play against each other.
yeah, definitely.
That'd be fun. Well, Sebastian, thank you so much for being on the show. That's all I have. Do you have any statements, comments, or questions for me before you sign off?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Best of luck to you, man. This is awesome to have you on the show. I know great things are coming down your line for basketball, and I always see great things about you on social media. So keep doing what you're doing, man, and good luck with everything.
Appreciate you for having me.
No problem.